I never thought painting my front door navy blue would turn into a war. But it did. The first shot came 2 weeks after I moved into Meadowbrook Estates. I came home to a violation notice taped dead center on the door. Unauthorized modification, door color navy blue. Correction required within 72 hours. At first, I thought it was a mistake. The previous owner had the same color, and nobody seemed to care then. So I called the HOA office. That's when I heard her voice for the first time. Karen Wilkins, president of the Homeowners Association. She told me the previous owners were grandfathered in, but since I was new, I had to comply with the updated standards. The approved colors are eggshell, soft alabaster, and gentle beige, she said, like she was reading a Bible verse. I explained why I chose navy. That door wasn't just paint. It was my history. 3 tours in Afghanistan. A prosthetic leg thanks to an IED. That color meant something to me. She didn't even pause. Your military service is irrelevant to HOA regulations. Rules are rules. Paint it by Friday or face a $200 fine. Doubles every week. That's how I met Karen Wilkins. Late 50s. Blonde helmet of hair. Lived in tennis whites or pastel cardigans. A dictator with a clipboard and just enough authority to make your life miserable. From that point, it escalated fast. Weekly citations. Grass half an inch too long. Garbage cans visible for 32 minutes after pickup. My American flag was too large. Every notice carried her signature and a growing list of fines. I tried to be reasonable. I went to the next HOA meeting. My leg was acting up, so I used my cane. When they called my name, Karen didn't even try to hide her annoyance. I stayed calm. I had read the bylaws front to back. The door color rule was only 8 months old. And there was a clause for reasonable accommodations. I explained how the navy door was a tribute to my service. I even saw a few board members nod. Then Karen cut in. Mr. Miller seems to think his veteran status entitles him to special treatment. If we make one exception, everyone will want one. She slammed the gavel. Next item. That night I got another fine. Disruption of HOA proceedings. That's when I understood, this wasn't about a door. This was about control. I decided to change tactics. I complied with the small things. Grass trimmed to exactly 2 inches. Garbage cans disappeared the second the truck rolled by. But I didn't touch the door. I installed 4 security cameras. Within a day, Karen sent another violation. Unauthorized surveillance equipment. I responded with a certified letter citing state law, my right to secure my property. I documented everything. Dates. Photos. Copies of letters. Her pattern of harassment. Then came the real breaking point. I had to attend a 3-day contractor conference in Virginia. While I was out, my neighbor Ted called. James, I don't want to alarm you, but someone's at your house with paint cans. I pulled up my security feed. There she was. Karen. Latex gloves. Paint tray. Roller. Marching up to my door in broad daylight and smearing beige paint over my navy blue. I felt a mix of rage and disbelief. I told Ted to go stop her. I was calling the cops. He approached her. She waved a paper in his face like it was a royal decree. I couldn't hear the audio, but her body language screamed, "Self-righteous queen." I called the local police and explained it all. I have video of the HOA president trespassing and vandalizing my property. While that was happening, I was sitting at dinner with some military colleagues, including an Air Force colonel I've worked with for years. When I told him what was going on, he leaned in. "You're recording this? I want to see." I showed him the feed on my phone, Karen arguing with Ted and a uniformed officer who had just arrived. She was still painting as if she owned the place. The colonel shook his head. "That's not just a violation. That's criminal. Mind if I make a call?" Turns out, his brother is a district attorney in the next county. Property law is his specialty. Within minutes, I was on a 3-way call, explaining the situation while still watching Karen on my security feed. The DA said it straight. The HOA can fine you. That's all. They have zero authority to alter your property without a court order. This is trespassing. It's vandalism. It's destruction of private property. The colonel asked me to let him speak with the officer on the scene. I gave the go-ahead. He introduced himself officially and laid it out plain. The moment the officer heard he was talking to someone from the Pentagon, his entire posture changed. He started taking notes seriously. I watched as he turned toward Karen, who was still rolling beige over my door like it was her divine mission. I couldn't hear what he said, but her face said everything. Smugness vanished. She started flailing, pointing at documents, trying to argue. Then came the final blow. In a fit of frustration, Karen hurled the paint roller across the porch, splashing beige all over my brick wall and windows. The officer didn't hesitate. He read her rights and led her to the patrol car. She screamed something about enforcing the rules, but no one was listening anymore. Not even her. By the time I flew back the next morning, the damage was done. My navy blue door had been turned into a streaky mess of beige, with drips running down like it had been attacked by a blindfolded amateur. Paint had splattered onto the brick, coated the windows, and even reached the landscaping. I took photos of everything. The estimate for the full cleanup came in just over $3,000, but I wasn't worried. I had something far more valuable: evidence. Crystal clear, high-resolution footage from multiple cameras capturing every angle. Karen trespassing. Karen painting. Karen throwing a roller in a tantrum. Karen getting arrested. I handed it all over to the district attorney. He didn't hesitate. Charges were filed for criminal trespass, vandalism, and destruction of property. Karen tried to play it smart. Hired a lawyer who argued that the HOA bylaws gave her authority to remedy visual violations. But the actual bylaws, officially entered into evidence by my attorney, told a very different story. They made it clear fines could be issued, and in extreme cases, contractors could be hired to correct violations, but only after multiple written notices, board approval, and, in certain situations, a court order. Karen had done none of that. She didn't even notify the board. Her case unraveled fast. 3 board members were subpoenaed. Each testified under oath that they had never approved any enforcement action on my property. One of them even admitted they were deeply uncomfortable with Karen's unilateral behavior and were afraid to speak up. The judge raised an eyebrow at that. But what really sealed it was the testimony from the Pentagon colonel. He submitted a formal statement outlining how he'd witnessed the act in real time and contacted the authorities based on what he saw. That wasn't just damning. That was federal. Then the judge turned his attention to me. Asked if Karen had known I was a disabled Marine. I said yes. I had told her the door color honored my branch. I had mentioned my prosthetic leg in the HOA meeting. The judge's tone changed. His questions became sharper, more direct. The courtroom, already quiet, went completely still. Karen sat at the defense table, eyes wide, lips pressed into a trembling line. Her lawyer tried to pivot back to HOA procedures, but it was too late. The damage was done, and this time it was her reputation that was splattered. The verdict came swiftly. Guilty on all counts. The judge listed the sentence clearly and without hesitation. 6 months of probation. 100 hours of community service. Restitution of $4,500 for damages and legal fees. A $2,000 fine. And the part that hit hardest, she was banned from serving on any HOA board for 5 years. As the final gavel struck, Karen broke. The pristine mask cracked wide open. But I was just enforcing the rules, she sobbed, mascara streaking down her cheeks. This will ruin my reputation. The judge didn't flinch. Perhaps you should have considered that before taking the law into your own hands, Ms. Wilkins. She was led out of the courtroom, still crying, still protesting how unfair it all was. I didn't say a word. I just watched her go. For months she had tried to make me bend, tried to break me down with petty power and escalating pressure. And now she was the one being dragged away, stripped of authority, and branded with consequences she never expected. There was no celebration. No victory lap. Just quiet satisfaction. A simple understanding that the rules do apply, especially to the ones who think they're above them. The door's been repainted. The navy blue is deeper this time, glossier, perfectly applied. I had the brick and windows cleaned, replaced the splattered flowers, and installed even more cameras, just in case. Meadowbrook Estates still sends out its monthly newsletters, though the tone has changed. The new HOA president is polite, fair, and doesn't own a single cardigan. I still get the occasional side-eye from Karen's old clique, but they don't speak. They know. Because every time they pass my house and see that navy blue door shining in the sun, they're reminded of exactly what happened when someone tried to bully a Marine. And they remember how that story ended.